Almost 50 years ago, a voice in the desert met the children of God. They were a radical group of Christian hippies who formed a major part of the Jesus Revolution that had swept through the younger generation in the United States in the 1960s. He read as much of their literature as he could put his hands on and was immediately impressed by this revolutionary new approach to evangelism. He corresponded with them for several months, eventually leaving his job and hitting the road with his family in their own attempt to emulate the hippie ideals he had learned from the children of God, and which he felt reflected so much of what Jesus taught in his Sermon on the Mount. The children of God themselves objected to the family calling themselves children of God because they were not living in an official Children of God commune and were not answerable to their leadership. Voice and his wife differed on how much they should be involved in the organization, to the point where he later left his family for about 3 months in the early 1970s to officially join the movement. About the same time, an instruction had gone out to the leadership of the entire movement, decreeing that anyone who wanted to operate independently should be allowed to do so, and should even be given literature to distribute. If they succeeded in winning another convert, then the pioneer himself should be recognized as an official shepherd or pastor of his own congregation. Voice immediately rejoined his family, talked his 4 children into becoming members with him, and officially became a pastor or shepherd in the movement, even though his wife never joined. Some 6 months later, it became clear that the group was teaching female members to offer sex as a way to lure men into the organization. Voice collected all of the addresses he could find for Children of God communities around the world, and he sent a letter to each of them called Follow God, in which he called on everyone to have the courage to do like he had decided to do and leave the organization to prove that their faith was in God and not in the official leadership, which had clearly lost its way. He left and never returned. Voice is not allowed to enter any Children of God community anywhere in the world, although the Children of God themselves are now called the Family International, as well as having taken on a number of other aliases in an attempt to hide their past. In 1997, the movement relaxed their restrictions temporarily on relations with former members, giving Voice and a number of people whom he had influenced an opportunity to visit some of the Children of God homes. During such friendly visits, they were constantly looking for others who would respond to the radical lifestyle that Voice and his friends were living, but were doing so without breaking God's rules with regard to sex. They even produced a series of booklets called the Baby Books, each incorporating some aspect of the original Children of God's teachings, but with each one going on to show the errors that had led to the downfall of the movement. These were surreptitiously circulated through various Children of God homes. Nevertheless, they were totally unsuccessful in making any converts. None of the people with whom Voice has worked over the past 45 years ever came from the Children of God or any of their subsidiaries, apart from his 4 children, who were aged between 4 and 8 at the time, and an elderly man who spent a few years in a small community in the United Kingdom, which Voice had helped from circa 2007 to 2010. Nevertheless, there has hardly ever been a media report or cult-busting article in that entire time that has not A, mentioned that Voice was once associated with the Children of God, and B, then gone on to say that the Children of God were a notorious sex cult. The media and cult busters steadfastly refused to even mention that Voice only lived in a Children of God commune for a period of 3 months, and that he very publicly washed his hands of the free sex teaching as soon as he had become aware of it. To learn more about what A Voice in the Desert actually teaches, please click on the link at the end of this video. Thank you for listening.